Gang, what's up? Aaron here, Canadian Loony. We have a string of interesting videos to watch, just a bunch of strange clips. Like, are Donald Trump and Mark Carney buddies again? Let's take a peek. This gets weird. Trudeau kissed a girl and he likes it? Like, oh my god. Let's take a peek.
Oh yeah.
To co-host the World Cup for Canada. Oh. Difficult question, I know, but...
It is the biggest of deals, Gianni. You know, it's the #1 sport for Canadian boys and girls. 2/3 of the country watched the last World Cup. And we are partnered with the United States and Mexico, welcoming the world. There's more than 200 nationalities in Canada, more than 200 nationalities in FIFA. The top 48 are coming to North America. It is going to be the biggest deal ever.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. Mr. President, President Trump, next summer is historic for the United States in more than one way. What does it mean to you that the FIFA World Cup is actually taking place in the United States 250th birthday? Special.
Well, for years, Johnny, they've thought soccer or football would be so big, so fast. And I remember, I shouldn't say this because it was a long time ago, but I remember watching Pelé play on a team called the Cosmos. Pelé, who was fantastic, as you know, I assume one of the greats.
Oh, yes.
And,
Pelé. Let's applaud Pelé, please. One of the greatest.
And he scored 3 goals out there. I said, that man can play. I was pretty young at that point, and who knew this was going to happen? But when you look at what has happened to football in the United States, is again soccer in the United States. We seem to never call it that because we have a little bit of a conflict with another thing that's called football. But when you think about it, shouldn't it really be called? I mean, this is football. There's no question about it. We have to come up with another name for this.
Yeah.
It really doesn't make sense when you think about it. It is really football. But who would have thought it would have come to a level where you've set your all-time season ticket ratings? Nobody's ever sold as many tickets, and you're still a long way from that ball being kicked down the field. So I just want to congratulate you. What an incredible leap this has been, and congratulations to FIFA.
Thank you.
Former Prime Minister Justin Trudeau and pop star Katy Perry have made no secret of the fact they're dating, but now a new photo is providing a hint at just how deep their relationship may actually be. The couple was spotted in Japan earlier this week with a former Japanese Prime Minister and his wife. The four had shared a lunch together. Trudeau posting afterwards saying in part, "Great to see you. Katy and I were so glad to have the chance to sit down with you." People magazine saying it marks the first time that Katy Perry has joined Justin Trudeau in any sort of political capacity. All right, for more, let's bring in music and entertainment journalist Rudy Blair with his take. All right, so what do you make of this? Because a lot of people are following this relationship closely, try to make sense of it. Rudy, what do you think?
I'm still trying to make sense of it. Did you hear what he said? Katy and I mean, talk about a hookup. Look, I think everybody knows that both prime ministers in the 2010s, they were both prime ministers at the time. They had a great relationship. They were building up relationships between the two countries. But the fact of having this happen, it's almost like he decided he couldn't really bring Katy to meet his parents, so he decided he had to substitute parents for the couple to meet this other couple. It is crazy, especially how everything started up. They had 2 different partners several years ago, and now they become partners. They both have kids. Honestly, I don't know. I think Justin might be going through one of those phases when you get older. You start maybe looking for somebody younger because, you know, he's like, what, 12 years older, I do believe, than she is. So maybe the word midlife crisis or words midlife crisis may be creeping up on our former prime minister.
It reminds me of those people who are familiar with Justin Trudeau's father, Pierre Elliott Trudeau, way back in 1969, had a romance with singer actress Barbara Streisand. And at one point, apparently, she turned down his marriage proposal, although they maintained a lifelong friendship. So this is not perhaps new for brand Trudeau to get involved with big-time singers for the music industry.
I like the way you said it so nicely. Let's face it, I love his dad, but his dad was a big-time player. Period. Okay? The younger Trudeau, great-looking guy, probably one of the most handsome politicians of all time next to the Kennedys. And if you remember, a certain Mrs. Trump was eyeing him a couple of times as well when they would meet. Big smile when she would see him, big frown when she would look over at her husband. The fact that now that he's on his own, you know, again, I got to use the term midlife crisis. The only thing is he went to the core on this one with Katy Perry. It's going to be interesting to see how things go, because as we all know, the first couple of months, maybe the first year, everything is hunky-dory. But is he going to be carrying her luggage or her speakers to her concerts? Is he going to want to travel constantly? Is he going to be able to step back when she is up front? Because she's still a pop star. He's a former prime minister and politician. So time is going to tell to see if this relationship is going to hold together.
How long is the internet going to be interested?
That's just it. I don't think they're interested anymore at all.
Thank you very much, everyone, for being here today. Canadians deserve nutritious, delicious, affordable food on their plate. They should be able to have meat and potatoes on the dinner table every single night. But today, a report from Dalhousie University on the cost of food shows that Canadians will be forced to spend $17,800 on groceries this coming year. That's a 995% increase. Sorry, that's a 990. A new report from Dalhousie shows that Canadians will be forced to spend over $17,000 on groceries this year, up almost $1,000 year over year. It's the second biggest annual increase ever, and double what Canadians were forced to spend the year the Liberals took office. This is outrageous, and it's the direct result of Liberal taxes, Liberal industrial carbon tax on farm equipment, fertilizer and food processors, the new Liberal food packaging tax, which restricts plastic use, all drive up the cost of food. Mark Carney promised when he took office, the day he was sworn in, that he'd be judged by the cost of the grocery store. Well, the judgment is in. Canadians are being forced to spend twice as much on their annual grocery bills as they were when Liberals took office, a number that is increasing and accelerating under his watch. Enough is enough. Let's get rid of all the hidden Liberal taxes on groceries so that Canadians can afford food again. And it's possible. We know it's possible because when the Conservatives were last in office, you know what it cost for a weekly grocery bill? $140. So now it's double that. We can get those costs under control, get rid of the Liberal taxes so you can afford to eat the foods you want for the hard work that you've done.
A question about the NDP, if you wouldn't mind. Avi Lewis today came out with a Green Plan Canada. Shut down all fossil fuel production, and all the jobs in that sector will go to something else. He also made a suggestion during the recent debate that...
Sounds like what Mark Carney was writing about in his book called Values. So I think Mark Carney will like the idea. He wrote all about it, and he believed in it for a decade. So
he also made the suggestion at the Montreal Leaders debate that manly work camps, he used the phrase manly, were disasters for Indigenous women and children. The insinuation that men working in the resource sector were engaging in sexual assaults, etc., of women in remote areas. And I wonder if you have a thought about that.
I have to see the comments directly. I'll just say, generally speaking, the NDP has been attacking working class men and women. They have abandoned the working class people who literally build this country with their hands. The only party that stands up for working class people is the Conservative Party. We stand for the miners and mill workers, the welders and waitresses. We stand up for making things affordable so people can put good food on the table and live in an affordable and a safe house. And we also stand up for the rights of working people to have their own freedom to own a hunting rifle, to have their own opinions. And that's why we saw record increase in the number of workers that believe that Conservatives are the ones that were going to make their lives safe, affordable, and prosperous.
Oh, I really wish they would have scheduled it to pass Bailey's Law, or to deal with Bailey's Law. You know, we just had every MP vote in favor of the most consequential legislation to address intimate partner violence. It's really saddened that we didn't take the opportunity the next day to study it. Why is no work being done? I came here to get work done. I've actually sent a message to Chair James Maloney, to Parliamentary Secretary Latanzio, asking for them to schedule Bill C-225 at committee at the earliest possible date. Let's not lose time.
What's your
Thank you.
understanding of what's transpiring at C9 over these amendments and what this means for the committee?
They had the audacity to accuse us of filibustering and grandstanding and preventing government legislation to pass when they abruptly canceled today's meeting. We apparently had resources to midnight, no explanation whatsoever. Did the same thing on Tuesday. Excuse me, catching my breath here.
It's cold outside. Yeah.
It's cold. We were told to be prepared to sit until midnight. They secured the necessary resources. I wasn't there personally, but I was told what transpired. A number of faith leaders found out what was going on in our Justice Committee, decided to watch the proceedings. They saw them come in to the committee room. Within minutes, the chair had abruptly ended the meeting at 5:30. So they can't have it both ways. In the House yesterday, a Liberal member, forget her name offhand, but she's part of the Justice Committee, asked a question to the Secretary of State, wanting to know why the Conservatives are filibustering, why the Conservatives are not placing a priority on the passage of C9. Secretary of State said, well, we're hopeful that this Thursday, meaning today, we would actually get to clause by clause. We're here to work. The Liberals have been lying about our intentions. We want to get work done, but we can't control the committee when they abruptly cancel, when they abruptly end meetings before they're completed.
What's your understanding of next week's meetings? Do you know if those are on tap? Have you got
I was told there was a rumor there's going to be no meetings next week. This is a Liberal mess that they have created. They want to prioritize this particular study. They need to have committees running.
Is there any
Pure
world,
and simple.
Is there any world that Conservatives could support C9 with certain amendments? Like, where do the Conservatives stand on this piece of legislation?
We have been trying to work collaboratively with the Liberal government and the Bloc Québécois from the start. We have put forth sensible amendments to improve this bill without encroaching upon civil liberties, without attacking religious freedom. The Bloc did the same thing. Those Liberals did the same thing. We got through one clause, and the Liberals shut down the rest of the committee. They got explaining to do to Canadians, not Conservatives. Thank you.
Could you share some? Well, I don't know.
I think you should be looking at the quarterly, the GDP numbers.
Yeah.
Seems like the data there is not quite accurate. That you should look into that.
A StatsCan or finance?
It's a StatsCan issue, but in the data that they receive from CBSA with respect to imports and exports, looks like there's a little bit of wonkiness there. So it might not be as strong as everyone thinks.
What do you make of this proposal from the Bloc to remove the religious defenses from Canada's hate speech laws?
As I just said, I'm not up to speed on this bill. It's not
Mr.
something
Blanchet said you had spoken to him about that and that there had been some discussion about the religious exemption.
I'm sorry, but I don't recall having any conversation with Mr. Blanchet on this, and again, I'm not up to speed on it.
Can I ask you in English about the sorry, Emily, I apologize.
Okay, go ahead. I'll go.
Just briefly on what the Peace leader is asking Quebec artists to do, and your response. response?
I mean, I would again ask Mr. Paul Saint-Pierre Plamondon what he has done for Quebec culture or the French language compared to what Mélanie Joly has done, who's doubled the budget for the Canada Council for the Arts, put more money into Radio-Canada CBC after the cutbacks of the Harper government. Pablo Rodriguez and myself, who have made sure that web giants will pay their fair share for Canadian artists, between $200 and $300 million per year for artists in Canada and Quebec. I, as a minister, put forward the concept of discoverability so that our artists are easily discoverable on those platforms. I could talk about Pascal Saint-Jacques, Pascal Saint-Onge, sorry, who made sure that Google would pay $100 million for our media. And I would ask, what has he done for the Quebec language? All talk, no action, frankly. What has he done for Quebec culture? Nothing.
I'm trying to figure out the 22 gun number, if that's a real number, if that's higher or lower. Could you help us out with that?
Look, we'll be reporting on the buyback program, the pilot. What I've said is that the pilot's gone well operationally. There were some glitches in the system we were able to iron out. It had the intended consequences of ensuring that we can roll out the program in the coming weeks. So at this point, we're not sharing the actual numbers. The bigger issue for us was to make sure that we have the logistical capability of rolling out the program nationally.
Without getting into the number, then, was the number that came in, was that sufficient for your program? Was it higher or lower than you expected? Just
from a testing perspective, I think it was important to have the program dry run, make sure that people can enroll, make sure that people can access the portal. There was a couple of small glitches we did iron out, so that was good. The pilot ran for much shorter time than the anticipated length of the full program, which we will roll out in the coming weeks.
Final question. Human beings need encouragement. They need things to get them to do things. You know, to think, okay, that Mauser that's been sitting in the garage under oilskins, I'm going to get rid of it now. I'm actually going to do it, to actually take it someplace. Are there ways that you saw that to motivate people, or ways that you think you have to change things to motivate people to do this? Or
look, I think the incentive is that these particular sets of firearms, about 2,500 of them, have been prohibited for a while now, like some of them dating back to 2020, some of them dating back to last December and March of this year. Those will become illegal once the Order in Council expires on the 30th of October of 2026.
It's good to see you. C9. Where is it at from your perspective?
Well, the Liberals are obstructing their own agenda right now. We had the chair of the Justice Committee in the House of Commons refusing to answer whether they will call our meetings next week. He claims, after cancelling today's meeting where we were going to be going over C9, that the only way we can get work done is by cancelling meetings. So the Liberals are obstructing their own legislation.
It's my understanding that Mr. Maloney has only taken over the Justice Committee in the last couple of days. Maybe offering some sort of fig leaf, some sort of reset to bring the Hatfields and McCoys back together?
Well,
I don't know. Like, what do you think?
You'd have to ask the Liberals. Just yesterday, they were up in question period, specifically saying we need to do clause-by-clause review on C9 today. We were ready for that. We were expecting to work, and then we got the meeting cancellation this morning.
Do you think there's been sort of turning up the temperature on both sides? Some people are calling out religious. It seems like there's been a bit of throwing gasoline on the fire on both sides on this issue. It seems a little hotter than maybe two sides getting together and working it out. Maybe that's my perception. Am I wrong with that? Or?
Well, if Canadians are alarmed by what the Liberals are doing, it's because they should be. This is an amendment that the Liberals and the Bloc, it seems like, cooked up to take aim at religious freedom, to erode long-standing safeguards for religious expression. And we were working diligently on committee. There was an amendment that was adopted on Tuesday. We were getting the work done, but this was an issue that has alarmed Canadians. So if the Liberals are backing off and are ruling this out, I hope they'll say it clearly and we can move on and protect religious religious freedom. So thank you.
Mr. Nakfi was standing here saying C9 would protect temples and so on.
It exposes people to more risk of prosecution. When the man who formerly chaired the Justice Committee, who's now a cabinet minister, says that people can be criminally prosecuted and that prosecutors should, quote, press charges for someone who cites their own scriptures in a way the government finds offensive, that is the opposite of protecting people of faith from hate. Thank you.
As a European, I am a European, actually.
Oh, you are?
Yeah, Irish citizen. Yeah, so there you
welcome.
go.
Welcome.
Speaking as a European.
WTF.
Here, here.
How many kids did you molest with Jeffrey Epstein?
More than just elbows.
And as the most European of the non-European countries,
being aware of what potential conflicts of interest you sought
What possible
to avoid.
conflict would you have, Stephanie? Stephanie, I'm complying with the rules. I'm complying with the rules in advance. Come on,
These are Muslim values. These are Canadian values.
Hi, everyone. Congratulations, you're spending more money on taxes than on food, clothing, and shelter combined.
Hey, that's something everyone can enjoy.